big trend. It's called black fatigue. I must say, before we play this young lady, it was actually a white lady who started this trend.
Hmm.
She took down her video because she was getting so much backlash.
Oh.
Some people have downloaded it, and you can find other people who have it, but she took it down. But this is this young black lady explaining black fatigue, and then we'll kind of talk about it.
Let's talk. This is the first time I'm hearing this phrase on TikTok, but I could use context clues and understand what it is. So, funny story, I'm scrolling on TikTok, minding my own business, just getting lost in the videos, and a white woman pops up in my algorithm and it's titled Black Fatigue. And I'm like, this should be interesting. Now, this is a creator that I've really grown to respect their videos. Basically, in her video, she's calling out the Black community for different ignorant things that we do. And it's not just her. I've seen a lot of white people on this app kind of come out. It's almost like raise your hand if you've been personally victimized by Regina George type of videos. And that's what they're doing toward Black people. Here's the thing. The videos that I've personally seen is not racism. It's accountability. It's one of those to where they are tired. They are fed up to where they have opened their camera and they start confessing the things that agitate them about the Black community. And because we have gotten to that point, you know who I blame? The Black community. I mean, for one, the actions that they are mentioning is clearly from the Black community. Black people in the comment sections are just like, this is racism, this is this, and this is this. I blame y'all. This is what happens when the Black community cry wolf or cry racism in instances that's not racism, to where now we have a hard time knowing the difference between what is actually racism and what is actually accountability. We've allowed this to happen because we do not like being held accountable for some of the ignorance, some of the degeneracy, some of the just plain right foolishness that comes out of our community. We refuse to address it. And when we have people who address it, they are called coons. They are called like judgmental. And so now you have white people entering the chat and said, you know what? We're tired of it. We're tired of being called racist for holding y'all accountable to the ignorant things that's happening.
So, what are your guys' thoughts on what she had to say?
I would love to hear what this white lady originally
Let me see.
spoke on, because all that is saying from her perspective is saying white people are trying to hold us accountable. But here's my take on it.
Yep.
It's kind of like with your family or with your mom or your dad or something. I can speak on my mama. I can speak on my, you know, but
Yeah.
I don't you can't do it. But I don't know the context and what she's saying, because I feel like every culture has something that they could be held accountable for. So I just, because she said holding as accountability. And then she was saying something about Black people think everything is being racist towards them. But when we speak it in a general sense, that's really kind of hard to
Hmm.
really have a discussion about. Let's be specific, and I would love to hear what the other lady had to say specifically, as far as
I'm fine. I'm getting there. I'm finding it right now.
Okay,
Go ahead, Tam, with
okay.
yours, and hopefully I can have her pulled up.
Um, I mean, I just feel like everything is out of perspective, right? Like Lissa said, when it comes to accountability, I can speak on what I know culturally for me as a Black person, and I don't think any other white person can, or any culture can necessarily speak to anything that I do because of being Black. And so you can't really hold me accountable for something you don't know anything about. And I know we as the Black community ain't asking them to hold us accountable, right? So that's different. If I come tell you, hey, hold me accountable for this or whatnot, but it ain't being asked for.
All right, I got the. Let me before you chime in, plug. I'm gonna play. I
Okay.
found. I'm gonna play the.
The white lady.
Yes. So let's just see here. Where she at? Let's see. This.
Stuff to do. We real I don't know what they doing. I don't know what they doing.
Rifling through somebody's bag.
Parents care.
You know what I'm saying? We here full time. We care about our kids.
I know that's right. All right. Well, we got to bring them up to speed. The only time that they're on the internet is when they are on the show. So, here, I'll pull up a video for you guys, and then we'll go from there. This video is like a minute and a half. So this is what's happening out in the streets. This is the woman that went viral for addressing it.
Shiloh Hendricks. The woman who called 5-year-old a racial slur. My first impression after watching the video, a little bit of white trash. I have to be honest, the kid was 5. I have worked with 5-year-olds for the last 15 years. Absolutely everything they do is out of pocket. They're like little unhinged drunk people. Nothing to do with sense. A 5-year-old is capable of rifling through somebody's bag and taking things that don't belong to them. Ask any kindergarten teacher. But I realize why so many people are wanting to defend this, because Black fatigue is real. I think society as a whole is there. We are just so unbelievably fed up with the ghetto ratchet behavior, entitlement, the victimhood, that they want to praise this woman. But what she did is not praiseworthy. But also on the same hand, please remember that every day that us white people get on this app, we get called racial slurs every single day. So if you don't want to be called a racial slur, you also have to stop calling people racial slurs. You can't talk out of both sides of your mouth. But for the love of God, please leave the children out of it. Adults are stupid. They're going to do stupid things. You're a different level of stupid when you bring kids into it. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
So what it sounds like from her perspective is that she was almost speaking for the, I don't know if y'all seen that white lady who said the N-word to the 5-year-old at a park, like, and everybody was in outrage, and then that lady went back and forth. But she's saying that from their point of view, it's almost like everybody's getting so tired of the what's going back and forth, right? Because not everybody's racist, not everybody is like what we display on TV or what we see. You know, when we see that brawl in, what was it, Mississippi, when they were hitting each other with chairs and stuff, that's not every Black person. But now everybody, I think, tries to protect their community, and we are like the head of that. Like, because we're all, I feel like we always, I won't say we, I feel like most people in our community feel like every day we're fighting like an uphill battle, because that's what they continue to go on and talk about on their platform. 2K talks about us being, you know, so many years behind due to slavery. Like, they talk about a whole bunch of stuff for like 50 minutes or so. But with y'all hearing that video, what do you guys think about it?
Let's start with the kindergarten teacher.
Go ahead.
Okay, so an adult doing that to a child, yeah, there's the child is 5, and I have to tell myself that every day when my students, like, these babies they've only been living for 5 or 6 years of their life. They know absolutely nothing. So that right there, defending what she did, I can't defend that.
I agree.
Not giving the child a pass, but that's for me, when a child makes a mistake, that's a teaching moment. That's a learning moment. And I give them grace and I give them understanding, because I know that they're 5 and they don't know how to self-regulate their emotions. I mean, adults are still learning how to self-regulate their emotions. So that, in that sense, yes, that was uncalled for. Like, that was just totally ridiculous. And why did that word have to be used? Of all the words you could use, but why am I, as an adult, calling a child, you know, like, that just don't make sense to me. But as far as what the white lady is saying about Black fatigue, I disagree. And I feel like it's like what Tam was saying, it's perspectives. If you've never walked around in melanated skin, you don't know what we deal with. And especially as a Black woman, and I can speak for myself, especially like on my job, you know, it's like I have to dim my light because other people don't want to, you know, look whatever they want to look like. For example, with us publishing our book, you know, that's not my problem that you didn't think outside the box and you didn't take advantage of an opportunity. I saw an opportunity. Hey, we'll publish your book for free. Bet. Let me teach my children how to do this. You know, but there's people on my team who are not, I guess in the beginning, they didn't feel like I don't know. I feel like it had a lot to do with my melanated skin. And then, you know, so they didn't take a lot of my suggestions early in the school year. So I'm like, I'm not going to share anything else if you don't want my suggestion. But now it's like, oh, she thinks she's better. No, I don't think I'm better. I chose to do something better for my kids. So I just feel like it's perspective. And what people actually experience, because a white person can say, hey, everybody's not racist, but a Black person can say, hey, well, my experience has been the majority of the time.
Gotcha.
So until I experience something new, immediately when my brain, because that's how our brain works, right? We have our prefrontal cortex, we have our hippocampus. Like, that's how our brain works. When we have a memory of some experience, it's going to get stored. And then it's going to tell us, oh, hey, the last time I encountered this person, this is what happened. So until I experience something new, then I'm going to think the same way.
What about you, Tam? What about you? I'm gonna let the ladies.
Well, we can go to Plug. Plug ain't said nothing about it.
Okay.
We've kind of talked beforehand, so we'll let him speak.
Maybe it's because of how I look, or maybe how I carry myself. I don't have too many racial. I don't have too many racial incidents. I don't know. Maybe I might not look like the one. You know, so living in this black skin, I know that does happen. And the way I speak, you know, the way I walk, you know, maybe they may perceive me a certain way, you know, until they get to know me or whatever the case may be. But I don't really deal with a lot of racial things. I kind of run into white dudes that be like, well, let's not make this race thing. So they pretty much don't be on that type of time with me. You know, I did when I was younger, being that I am from Florida. You know, it's a very racist state, you know, but I ain't really catch my real, like I heard it as a kid, you know, little kids get upset and they say, you know, get out of my face, nigga. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I really caught it when I got Louisiana, to be honest. I was leaving Fort Polk, Louisiana, and I was headed to the river to a little girl house, and this police officer pulled me over and say, nigga, what you doing over here? And I said, can you say that to me? I'm in my uniform. Like, I was in my uniform, and he said that to me. A Louisiana state trooper, and I was shocked. That was my first time, like, but I don't encounter that on a regular basis, and I don't want nobody to take that incident and make it a span of their life. You know, and it's like, they act like, and I heard what you said about, you know, a white woman can't tell you, you know, how to be or act when she hasn't lived in that melanated skin, and I understand. But let's not put no limitations on ourselves, or don't let our anxiety or, you know, something mental, you know what I'm saying, get in our way of thinking that people talking about us because we are this way. You know what I mean? Like, some of that stuff be in your head, but some of the people ain't staying yet. Period. Like, most people I don't think most people even be studying us. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not even on that radar, because most of them don't live where we live. Most of them don't have friends of, you know, of this color. Most of them don't be thinking about us. I think we think more about the racist portion of it, and we just get into outrage sometimes, you know. And I'm blackity black, and I'll tell you quick, if I think it was a racist situation, like, Norris, you know, I'm be the first one to say, no, that was racist. You know what I mean? But I just don't live in that bubble, though. I think that us as black folks, we need to stop living in that bubble, and they need, and also another thing that they need to also not live in that bubble. Every black person that you come in contact with is not a thug, or, you know, a bonnet wearing, you know, leggings wearing person at Walmart or in the airport, and every white person that you encounter is not racist. You know what I mean? So it's something that we got to work on, but it's hard to beat. Social media got us beat. Social media is ahead of the curve. The devil been working for a long time. The devil are the powers that be, the people that we can't see, the one we say they, and then I hate the people that say, who are they? Nigga, you know who they are. And white man, you know who they are. You know who they are. And the powers that be is the ones that are behind this machine that put that stuff in our face. And our media is the worst media that they put on the internet. and it is what it is. And white people have to recognize that that's going on as well. You got to know that the media they put in your face is derivative. Did I say that right? Did I say that?
Yeah, you said it right.
You like that? You like that, don't you? Yeah,
What
it
you,
is. But it's divisive. I'm sorry, it's divisive. Listen, you should have said something. It's divisive.
I should have said something. I don't get it.
Yeah,
you said the wrong word.
it's divisive. It is divisive. It is, and it divides us, man. And it's sad, man. And we don't need to play into that shit no more. It's time to stop playing into that shit no more. We don't need to play into that. It's played, man. That scenario been going on for way too long, man. It's 2025 and we still own that. We still own that, Norris. We still own that, man. That shit played, man. I get tired of seeing old racist people. Like, I get tired of seeing that. I see them, you speak to them and they don't speak back. You're like, damn, what I do to you? Like, how can you just like somebody just because of the skin color? How you dislike someone because of the skin color?
It's talk.
I mean, let me slap fire at you first. Let me push your grandmama down or something and let her break her hip. Then you don't like me. Don't just out the gate, just don't like somebody. You know what I mean? That's crazy, man. I can't believe you still living like that, man. Can y'all believe that?
What you got, Tam, before I don't want to go before you, unless you want to go last.
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter. You can go.
Okay. So, trying to get better at this thing. And I don't want to discount Alyssa's experience. No, because this is why I think we have Black fatigue. Because I was doing this a lot when we first all got together. It's like almost discounting what other people either encountered or how they felt about something. I feel like two things can be true, right? Two things can be true, that a white person can't tell a Black person about their experience. With that being said, what I've been trying to do in scenarios, and it's funny that Alyssa, you brought up that scenario because on their show, they literally talked about the scenario exact same. It was Black women in the corporate workplace experiencing a lot of that, almost like passive aggressiveness from the other race. And I feel like we're getting to a point now that, like, I feel like that's what we should be working on, more solution-based things. And I don't know if the white culture is ready for that. Because, like, for instance, for me, I'm in corporate America now, and I'm a very outspoken person. Like, you ask me, do I like something? I'm the type of guy that say, no, I hate it. Like, I'll just say it. Like, I'm that guy that'll come, you ask me how I'm doing today, I'll tell you it's horrible. But how are you? Like, I would give you the honest truth. But what I've noticed is the people who are receptive to it, they'll end up coming to me one-on-one, and they'll come out with me, or we'll meet at a certain account. You know, we go to different accounts and different businesses, and they'll just kind of talk with me and get to know me. And they understand, like, oh, okay, he said this, but this is what he really means behind all that. And I think that's what we aren't able to do in our workplaces. Like, Alyssa should be able to be in a space where she can feel the way she feels, but also bring it up to her coworkers and be like, hey, y'all, there should be almost like an amnesty at schools and at wherever you work. There should be like an amnesty day or an hour, or where I can sit down and literally talk without HR firing me, without me being called a certain name. I should be able to sit down and be like, you know what? This is how it could be at the beginning of the years for y'all listening to town. Like, since y'all do new school years, like at the beginning of every school year, you take a week when the teachers and counselors and everybody come back, and you have a week of amnesty where it's like, hey, is there anything you encountered last year that you would like to talk about this year so that we can avoid it this year? And I think if we have more of that, more solution, I'm trying to become more solution-based than feeding, because y'all know I can troll very good. So I'm trying to get out of the trolling and like actually become solution-based. And I think we just need to find a way to allow people to say what they're going to say, but we should also be able to say our part too. Like, we should be able to say, okay, I appreciate you feel that way. With that being said, this is how I feel about the situation. And two things can be true, and we move on. That's my opinion.
I just don't think that is going to be successful unless both of those people are willing to then change.
Yeah,
right? Yeah. Me hearing what you say and you saying what I'm saying, unless we're willing to work towards blending them, then it doesn't really matter.
but see, I look at it as this is my way of starting to be the corporate Norris, though, right? Because I'm gonna talk to you about it, and then if I see that things don't change, I'm gonna become that snitch.
However, you just said that I disagree, and we just gonna leave it as where it is. Right. So you're saying two different things. Like we're gonna talk about it. You gonna say one thing, I'm gonna say one thing, but then if it continues, well, just because I talked about it doesn't mean there's gonna be change.
Well,
it just means we talked about it.
Well, we should have.
I know how you feel, but I'm gonna still do what I do.
But we should still be able to close. Like you still got to have. I can't go on a long rant, but we should still be able to close that conversation with, "Hey, Tam, we talked about this today. Moving forward, I would like to be treated this way. Is that okay? How would you like me to treat you?" Now we closing the loop at that point. Now, if I see you continue to treat me the way I'm just gonna become that guy. I'm gonna go to HR.
Scary, but that's scary. Some folks just are non-confrontational, and that's horrible. Like they don't want to have that conversation.
But I think that's the issue, Plug. Conversation shouldn't be confrontational, though.
Alyssa, how would you like me to treat you? Tam, how would you like me to treat you?
Well, you teach people how to treat you.
All of that has nothing to do, y'all, though, with color. Like we're talking about the black fatigue. What you're saying happens black on black.
I didn't want to say that.
White on white.
I change my ways. I didn't want to say that.
Huh?
I'm trying to change my ways. So I was trying to bring a solution. I didn't want to say like we do this too.
but to me, that's in the solution. Like I can't expect for white people to treat me a certain way when my own black people ain't treating me that way. Right. So part of the solution is we have to treat our people better.
That's true.
So to me, it is the solution. But we don't look at that. Like I will tell you, I honestly feel more racism from my black people than I have ever felt from white people. And so it's I hear what she's saying and I understand what she's saying. I don't necessarily agree with everything or not, but I still think it goes back to our own community. Yeah.
Okay. Good. You have anything else, Lisa, to add at all? Okay. I agree. I think both are true. I think we need to come up with solutions, but I think too that in our community, like us four on this panel right here, we all intelligent enough to understand certain words and stuff like that. I think we have to start educating our communities to understand like selective outrage and the things that ends up creating black fatigue. You see what I mean? Like we will argue back and forth about presidential stuff or Democrat, Republican, but then we'll let something like Tory Lanez happen and nobody really cares. It's kind of like we don't care. We're just gonna go with the flow with it. You got the dad that was in Cincinnati who ran over the cop because his son got killed after stealing a car. Like nobody, like it's like, but when Camelo did what he did, we raised money, we argued about it. Oh, okay, this black person did something, we don't care about that. Then we just let 3 black police officers in Memphis who killed a black man. They were found innocent. Like that's what I think the black fatigue comes from. It's the selective outrage because we'll get mad.
How do you know it's being selective though? How do you know people aren't doing just because it's not going viral?
But I feel like for our community, Alyssa, that it has to go viral because that's the only time that people pay attention to the African American community. You see what I mean? Like that's why I feel like it's select. When I say select, that's why because I did a video about Kyron Lacey. When he passed away, we can't say the S word. That's why we ended up getting banned the last time. But when Kyron Lacey took his life, the LSU player, and then you had Metcalf, I did a comparison of like this young man was out here streaming for help. He didn't just off himself, like a normal person would. He was in a car running away from the police. But what if we would have had the same type of support for him? I'm sure some people did, but it wasn't as big. You see what I mean? Like, I understand what you're saying. Like, I'm sure somebody's fighting for every case, but I feel like we make certain cases bigger than others, and we almost need to put everything almost like on the same playing field. if we're going to support ours, we got to support ours to a certain extent. Does that make sense at all?
Yeah, it makes plenty of sense.
Nobody don't have anything else? Nothing else? We finna